Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, hi, my name's Lu and welcome to Lumazing. So in this video, I'm just going to share with you what it feels like to fail and how I overcame that feeling. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to be a fourth year mathematics and statistics student, and I've shared my academic journey on this channel. And one key thing about my journey is how I was a straight A student from primary to secondary, and I worked super hard because my goal was to study out of the country. Unfortunately, my hard work didn't pay because I ended up studying in the country. And to me, that made me feel like a failure because I viewed universities out of the country as places that successful people go, places that A students go to. And so going to a lesser university made me feel like a failure. Studying in my country, Zambia, made me feel like a failure, and it was rough. In the moment of feeling like a failure, I was very hopeless. I was very helpless. I just felt like the situation couldn't get better. If anything, my situation got worse, okay? So already, I'm in this place, I'm in this university that just makes me feel like I can't make it in life. And then on top of that, I started failing my courses. I failed physics 3 times. It just made me feel worse, okay? I always felt like if I wasn't in this situation, I would have been an A student again, okay? Or if I wasn't in this situation, I would have been doing better. But because I'm in this situation, I keep failing, which even makes things worse and confirms that I'm a failure for real. And I'm just not going to make it. Before this whole situation, I would always be writing down my goals. I would always be writing down my ambitions. I would always be looking forward to doing big things for my country, doing big things for myself, for my family. But then after that incident, the lights just went down. Okay, the lights just went down. I stopped dreaming big. I stopped being ambitious. Everything just went down. I felt like even if I worked hard, even if I dreamed big, I wouldn't achieve my goals. And nobody could tell me otherwise in that moment, because you know how motivational speakers would always tell you, work hard, work smart, so that you can achieve your goals, so that you can have a comfortable life, so that you can do this and do that. Well, I worked hard, I worked smart, but that didn't happen, okay? My goals didn't come true. My dream didn't come to reality. So I didn't believe anybody who told me, you just need to work hard, because I did work hard, okay? I did work hard. All the way from primary to secondary, I worked hard, okay? And I didn't achieve my goals. I didn't achieve my dreams. If anything, you know how people say hard work pays? For me, I was thinking hard work doesn't pay because I worked hard and it didn't pay. I lost my motivation and I was just very hopeless, very helpless. My mental health was deteriorating, but like I didn't even notice. I would always put up this bubbly persona. Like, yeah, I'm a bubbly person, right? But then I would be extra bubbly, just so nobody could ask me what's really going on. Because if you are happy or bubbly or have a certain vibe with people, then they don't have the opportunity to ask you deep questions that make you think about what's really going on in your head, right? Yeah, but even then you could still tell that something was wrong with me, because as much as I was bubbly, my room was a mess. I feel like in that moment, looking back, my room was a true reflection of what was going on in my head, okay? My clothes were everywhere. I never even used to spread my bed. Sometimes I would skip taking a shower. Not sometimes, a lot of times. Especially during the holiday, because I just felt like, what was the point, you know? What's the point of cleaning my room? What's the point of maintaining good hygiene? Like, why? it was just so bad. There would be times when I didn't even eat when I was at school. I didn't even eat because I was like, what's the point of eating? I'll just spend my time sleeping and crying myself to sleep and just wallowing in my pain and in my sorrow and just looking at how difficult things were reminding me that even if I tried my best at this, it's not going to work out. And that was my excuse for a lot of things. I'll just be like, even if I try my best, even if I put in the effort, it's not going to work. And you guys, you couldn't convince me otherwise, okay? Because that was the story of my life. I tried my best. I did work hard. It didn't work out. So now I was like, even if I did, it won't work out. It won't work out. So what's the point of trying in the first place? You know, what's the point of waking up early to put in my best? I would try here and there, but then for the most part, I just wasn't present. I wasn't present in my life. Whenever I would tell somebody what's going on, they would be like, everything happens for a reason. Oh my gosh, I hate that phrase so much. But anyway, back to the story. So in that feeling, or in that moment when I was feeling like a failure, I would always ignore the feeling, okay? I would always push it aside until one time when I just broke down. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't live in my head because my thoughts were just killing me. I kept telling myself, you're not going to make it. I kept telling myself, hard work doesn't pay. I just kept telling myself all these things I was feeling, and it was just overwhelming to me. And I reached a point where I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, I wanted to do something about it. And so I talked to a counselor and to one of my friends, and my choices were actually like super intentional. I chose a counselor because I thought, oh, this person is trained to help people, right? And my friend, this one friend, because I felt like it was a safe space for me to talk to her, and I knew that she wasn't going to hit me with everything happens for a reason. Like, no. No. When I spoke to these two people, I was on the road to recovery, okay? Recovery from failure. Well, recovering from the feeling of failure. You need to reach a point where you can't take it anymore and actually do something about it. So for me, my first step was to talk to a counselor. When I talked to these people, there were 3 things that they asked me, okay? And I felt like these 3 things were questions that helped me realize what was going on. The first question that they asked me was, how do you feel? And this is a question that I'm asking you, because if you're watching this, then you probably feel like a failure, or you probably feel some sort of disappointment or some type of way about life. So I'm just going to ask you, like, how do you genuinely feel? How's life treating you? How do you feel about your current situation? And I just want you to be really honest with yourself as you answer this question. If you like, please write down your answer. The second question that I was asked is, why do you feel like that? And yeah, there's a reason you feel like that. So why do you feel like that? For me, to answer the first question, when I was asked how I feel, it was quite simple. I felt like a failure. I felt like a failure. Okay, I felt like I wasn't going to be successful. I felt like a nobody. Okay, I felt like I'm not even going to contribute to the growth and development of my country or the world at large. I felt like I didn't even have a purpose. Okay, that's how I felt. And when I was asked, why do you feel like that? It was very simple, because I didn't achieve my goals, and that's why I felt like that. But the reason might be different for you. Why do you feel like that? Is it because you failed in NS? You were this student who had a dream of becoming a medical doctor, but then you go through NS and then you fail, and now you have to change your career path. Whatever it is, write it down. How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? The The third question I'm going to ask you is, what triggers those feelings? You know, what makes you feel like a failure? Who makes you feel like a failure? Is it a particular situation? Is it when you're faced with a difficult task? Or maybe, have you noticed a pattern that makes you feel like a failure at the end? Have you noticed a pattern that leaves you disappointed? Have you noticed a pattern that makes you feel sad about this particular person, about this particular situation, about whatever you might be going through? What triggers your feelings of disappointment, sadness, failure, loneliness? And the last question I'm going to ask you that I was asked is, when do you feel that way? When do you feel like a failure? When do you feel disappointed? When do you feel sad? You can't tell me you always feel sad. There are those moments where, you know, it's a bit lighter and bearable and you're like, okay, this is cool. But then, boom, you feel disappointed again. Boom, you feel sad again. You feel like a failure again. You feel like you're not going to make it in life. You feel like you're useless. When do you feel like that? I feel like these are very, very important questions that helped me overcome my feeling of failure. And I feel like these are important questions that we can be asking people who are going through those things so that we can help them, rather than just saying, oh, everything happens for a reason. How do they feel? Why do they feel that way? What triggers those feelings? And when do they feel like that? And the last question, as the person who is asking these questions, ask them, how can I help you? You know? And if it's you who's watching this video going through the motions, ask yourself, what help do I need? Do you think you need to see a therapist? Do you need money so that you can cover your debt that's bothering you? Do you need to ask for closure? Do you need to ask for an explanation from whoever? What do you need? So these are 5 questions that help me recover from feeling like a failure. So after I answered these questions honestly by myself, the last one, which says, what do you need me to do to help? Or the last question that says, what help do I need? For me, I just wanted an explanation as to what actually happened for me to study in the country. That was the first thing. The second thing that I wanted was for them to just know why I'm finding it difficult studying in Zambia. In that moment, I made up my mind that if my parents ever ask me what's actually going on in school, I was going to tell them. Unfortunately, I didn't have the courage to go up to them and like talk to them. Like, yeah, I'm free with my parents, but then there are just some conversations that, yeah, I can't have them, okay? Like, it's very difficult for me to have uncomfortable conversations. Maybe if you're raised in an African home, you'd understand what I'm talking about, or if you're raised in a Zambian home, you'd understand. But like, I'm not trying to generalize every Zambian home. There are some people who are like super chilled with their parents and will say everything and anything with them. That's fine, but for me, no. In that moment, I had made up my mind, because I was like, look, if we don't address this situation, if we don't address this problem, if we don't address these feelings, it's only going to become worse, okay? And I'll never get over it. So in that moment, I was like, you know what? When they bring up the topic, I'm going to just tell them what's going on. Great. Weeks went by and I wasn't saying anything. They were not saying anything. And I was just like, okay, cool. Whenever it happens. And so I would pray. I'm like, Lord, please provide a situation or a space in which I can just pour my heart out and say everything that's going on, because I feel like I don't have the courage to go up to them and tell them what's actually going on. One day we went to look for a physics tutor to help me with understanding physics concepts. Like I said, I failed physics 3 times and I'm going to be repeating it for like the 4th time. So I needed help. I was in the car with my dad going to look for a physics tutor, and we didn't find one, but we parked outside the tuition center because we were waiting for my sister. And in that waiting period, my dad asked me, so Lumbanya, what are your goals in life? What's your dream? What are your ambitions? And in my head, I could have just said something that I always say, like, oh, to get a PhD, to get a master's, or to get a Benz or whatever. I would have said that, but I used that opportunity to just pour my heart out. I was like, it's now or never, Lumbanya. So just say what's actually going on. So I responded. I was like, well, I don't have dreams, and I don't have goals, and I don't have ambitions. And he was like, why? And I was like, because I just feel like when you have goals and when you have dreams and you have ambitions and you work towards them, they are not going to come true. It's not going to happen. And it just makes you feel like a failure, because that's what I've been through. I had a goal, I had a dream to study out of the country. I worked towards it very, very hard, but the dream, the goal didn't come true, okay? And I ended up feeling like a failure. And I ended up feeling like life is unfair. And then my dad was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I thought you were over that. And I was like, nope. Then I told him, I'm like, I don't even understand how I ended up studying in Zambia when everything else was in place. I did my part, which was like working hard to get good grades, but then it just didn't happen. And then he said, well, at the time, firstly, COVID happened, okay? There was a pandemic, borders were shut down. There was no way you were going to get on a plane to go to another country amidst the pandemic, because some airlines weren't even working. And the second reason is because we saw that in Zambia, even if there was a pandemic, universities like the one that I am at were still working and offering online lessons. We just thought, okay, let her go to university now so that she can finish really, really fast, and then we can take her out of the country to go study. And I didn't know that, okay? I didn't know that. The reason I had in my head was, oh, he was sick. I think I even mentioned this in my other videos. He was sick, and so we needed to, you know, go to uni quick. And then the last reason was things were just out of control on his end, or on my parents' end. Like, things just didn't align well for me to go out of the country to study. And I guess that was God's providence. The last thing that he told me was, don't blame yourself. Because this whole time, if you've noticed, even in this story, I kept saying or telling myself, hard work doesn't pay, okay? I was putting the blame on myself, telling myself that even if I worked hard, my goals won't come true, my dreams won't come true. In reality, or the truth is, that was also not in my control, okay? I did my part. We can't say that, oh, I didn't go out of the country because I didn't work hard enough. No, I did, okay? I did. It's just that things just didn't work out, okay? Now, this is the part where we say everything happens for a reason. It was all in God's providence. I don't know the reason. I don't know why. But at least I know how I felt. I know why I felt like that. I know what triggered those feelings. And I know the help I needed. And I got the help I needed. I got the answers I needed. And that's all I needed. Like, I just wanted to hear the other side of the story, you know. And I finally got that. And in that moment, boom, I didn't feel like a failure, okay? I didn't feel like a failure. Even my dad told me, he's like, we're so proud of you, okay? You've come so far and we don't see you as a failure. So don't look at yourself as a failure. Oh my gosh, I'm tearing up, I'm sorry. Yeah, but he was like, don't look at yourself as a failure, okay? We don't see you as a failure. Don't blame yourself, because what happened is not your fault. neither is it our fault because things were out of control. Nobody anticipated the pandemic, okay? Nobody knew that was going to happen. And other factors that just didn't even make sense. Like you know, when life is just being life, okay? Or when God is just putting pieces of the puzzle together and you can't even see what's going on. Like, it was that moment, right? So on my part, I just needed not to blame myself anymore, because I finally heard the other side of the story, and I finally expressed how I felt about the whole situation and how it affected me. Every single time I would resort back to the same toxic pattern, the same toxic way of thinking, of telling myself, this is difficult because I'm not out of the country. I can't do this because I'm not out of the country. This is not working out because I'm not out of the country. And even if I tried, it's not going to work out because in the past, it didn't work out, you know? So I developed that very toxic habit. And so telling him all that, and him hearing my side of the story, and I'm just so happy. This is another thing. I'm so happy that my dad didn't say, oh, everything happens for a reason. Okay, well, at the end of it all, he did. But yeah, so that's my story. And if you have been around on my channel, you'll notice that the theme song that I had just described my situation. The theme song said, I want to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to a brand new world. I guess ignorance is bliss. I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. And that's what I was going through. That's how I felt. And I remember somebody even commented saying this theme song is perfect because it aligns with the content you create, which is a student who's struggling and is very, very frustrated. She wants to be educated, but she's so frustrated. And ignorance is bliss, because I'll just not care, like just not face the problem, live in my ignorance, not want to know whatever can help me, and just, you know, find joy in not knowing. That was my situation then. But after this conversation I had with my dad, which I even thought I should share because it's part of my academic journey, and I feel like this is a highlight of the journey because now my mindset has changed. Now my thinking has changed. It's like I'm learning to dream again. I'm learning to be ambitious again. I'm learning to be a better version of myself. I'm learning to understand myself. I'm learning to overcome failure, okay? And I know this isn't the only time I'm going to face disappointment, going to face sadness or loneliness or feeling like a failure. There'll be other times, but I feel like now I know better. A bit better, okay? But yeah. So I was saying about the theme song. So now I've changed the theme song because that's not my life anymore. It's not a struggling student who's frustrated and finding bliss in ignorance. No. It's a student who has hope. And so now my new theme song is, even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. So now I'm learning to dream again, learning to be more ambitious, learning to set goals. And this is August of 2023 when I feel better about myself. I feel better about my situation, and I feel I can now see the light at the end of this tunnel. Okay, I can now see it. So maybe in another video I'm going to share with you some of my goals. Yeah, maybe I might share with you some of my goals, some of my dreams. But the first goal is still alive, okay? I just want to go and study out of the country. I want to study in a university where you don't use a chalkboard, okay? Where you don't need to carry your desks to a lecture room or your chairs to a lecture room because there are not many chairs in that particular lecture room. Like, bro, I want to go to a university where You can print things on campus. Like, bro, a university that has working geysers, okay? A university that has a gym, a university that has like Starbucks by the corner, you know? I just want to experience such university out of the country. I've already experienced university in my country, but now I just want to experience the university life out of the country, because it's different. It's very different. Yes, it's university at the end of the day. Yes, you have that school pressure. Yes, you get homesick. Yes, you have that lonely feeling, but I still want to experience that life, you know? I want to see snow. I really want to see snow. Guys, I want to go to a shop. I want to go to Zara, okay? If I'm being honest, I have a lot of my clothes from Zara, but then they are thrifted, okay? But then it's... Guys, I've never entered a Zara shop, but I own Zara clothes. Like, how does that even make sense? How? Okay, it does because it's thrifted. But I want to go to a Zara store. Does anyone want to sponsor my education out of the country? Please? I would really appreciate it, okay? You'll be part of making the dream come true. Part of making the dream come alive. But anyway, this is now going to be a different journey. Not of a student who wants to be educated but is frustrated, but of a student who's going to try her best, okay? And I know my grades were really, really bad in the past. From first year to third year, it was just B's and C's, honestly, and D's. I've only gotten an A once, but this is my final year of university, or year and a half of university, my 4th year, and I just want to come out strong, okay? I want to finish with a bang, a good bang, like an A+ type bang. Yeah, so if I make more educational content, it is what it is. I just, you know, I just want to bring you along the journey, because if you know one thing about me, my content is about authenticity and not perfection. I just don't want to come here with results like, oh, I achieved this, I achieved that, I achieved this, I achieved that. No. I want you to see the journey. I want you to be a part of it. I want you to see me study. I want you to see me work through overcoming failure. I want you to see me go through the motions and emotions waves of university. Like, I just want you guys to be a part of everything, and I hope that might inspire somebody not to give up, or encourage somebody that they can also do it, okay? Yeah, so yeah, please come through, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of my academic journey, okay? The goal, the dream is to achieve a master's and PhD out of the country, okay? And I want you to be witness to that, and I want you to be a part of this journey. So subscribe, so that when we are seeing snow, when we are entering Zara, when we're flying to go do the masters, you guys will be like, I saw her struggle. I've been here since day one, you know? Like, it would be really nice. It would be really, really nice. But anyway, I hope you like this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, share with somebody, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.